again, don't these rich people have their own avenues for this sort of thing?
Well, not anymore.
Yeah, this.
Epstein.
Oh, you think that destabilized the whole...
fucked with the whole market.
Let's go back to the Craigslist thing.
Cast Iron Brains, a podcast that would like to remind you that just because you have occasionally found yourself losing your temper at your children, or perhaps had or expressed the passing thought, I'm gonna kill that kid, or have gotten big mad at a no-account toddler on occasion, you don't have to identify with a psychotic who murdered her 3 kids. My name is Bob, sitting across the way from my good friend and co-host. That's Abe. How you doing tonight, Abe?
Doing well, Bob.
Yeah, here we are. Lori's here too. How you doing tonight, Lori?
I don't want to talk about that lady.
Lori doesn't want to talk about that lady. Tonight is Monday, August 24th, 2026. Here on a Monday, back in the saddle again, where we belong.
Isn't that an open and a shut case? Why is that even a story?
You know, the Lindsay Clancy, I believe, is the lady in question. I didn't talk about it last week or the week before, even though this trial's been going on for a little while now. But it's getting around social media that these TikTok moms and Instagram Reels moms, which is apparently these are distinct species of moms, I suppose. But they are expressing the belief that they get it.
The killing of your own child?
Yeah. So
No.
there's something here going on that Lori is going to deny exists.
I don't know what the social media side is like, so I don't know.
Right. It actually speaks to the much sort of larger, broader question of moral relativism and what it means that we don't worship, that we don't believe in God anymore. Like, not necessarily individually, but like culturally, we don't believe in God anymore. I think we've effectively, here in the American Western world, our culture has killed God from the public space. I don't think
There's a movie specifically called God's Not Dead.
Right.
I believe there are 4 of them now. So,
and I don't mean that from the perspective of an evangelical or somebody who laments that most folks don't believe in God anymore, or don't act like it anyway. But I think that there is something there. I think that there's a connection there that all of these sort of post-structuralist ideologies, the postmodernists, the Marxists, the cultural Marxists, Abe, that's who we're going to talk about today. They have spent, and our culture has spent generations now insisting that we just need to better understand the motivations of people, and then we will see that they're not all that much different from us, and therefore perhaps we should empathize with their plight, right? That perhaps if we could only look at things in a less black and white sort of way, we would understand that we're not all that much different from the commies on the other side of the world, for example, or the people who play Little League in Southern California, just like we play Little League here in Central Virginia, and they play Little League down there in Southeast America, right? Like, we're all basically the same, and it would be better if we could understand that human beings are largely acting in their own rational self-interest, and nobody's all that different from anybody, but also throw in this sort of critical critique, the like critical race theory style critique of things on top of like a generation or two of people who were raised reading what was the alternate history that everybody loves, the first
Zinn?
time? Yeah, the Howard Zinn. Why can't I come up with the name of it off the top of my head?
The history of the U.S.
because you're old.
Is it the People's History of the United States or something like that?
Some variation of that, yeah. That is weird that I can't place it. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, A People's History of the United States, first published in 1980.
Okay.
Which is another way of saying like that shit that the Francesca Hong was going on about in her tweets in 2020, where it's like
about Thanksgiving and the like.
Like Thanksgiving is a colonialist holiday that we should be ashamed of.
Right.
And like when you put it in a tweet and you put it in black and white, and you're surprised that you can't be the governor of a fucking state 4 years later. Like, come on. Like, yeah, sure. A lot of people are uncomfortable with certain aspects of American power and the way it was deployed 400 years ago. But we still want to have our turkey day and watch our fucking football, and you can fuck right off if you're going to try and do something about that. Anyway, the point is that I'm meandering my way towards is there is this understandable instinct to try to understand where somebody is coming from, right? And to understand their motivations. And then you combine that with a sort of systemic approach, right? Or what you believe to be problems with the broader system, which let's just say is you're for like cash bail reform, right. And you think that the prison industrial complex is bad, and you have these sort of general notions that like all of these structures and institutions that we have not been great for the little guy. And then we're going to throw on top of that the last, I don't know how long, it seems to have exploded in the last 5 years, basically since the pandemic, this self-diagnosis of like all of these ailments, these psychological harms that were done to me as a child, and that the trauma that I'm still trying to work through in my own personal psychology, and like people who are self-diagnosing as spectrumy in various ways and claiming all of these psychological like my ADHD is what makes me into the personality that I am. That's that sort of thing. And so now they think, well, I'm just on a continuum with Lindsay Clancy, right? And then so now all of a sudden, like my victim identity complex of the various psychological things that I'm convinced make me who I am and therefore make me a person who struggles in this world is on a continuum with the postpartum psychosis that led Lindsay Clancy to murder her 3 children after she sent her husband out to run an errand or what have you.
Right.
And I know I just went in 6 different directions, but there's something about the blowing up of like the structural critique of the entire system and then finding the victim within, or imagining that there's a victim of this broad grand system within that makes having an actual coherent morality functionally goddamn impossible, right? Like, because you cannot, if you're, whether it's Luigi Mangione talking about admitting to shooting this guy on the side of the street, and people are still like, well, yeah, that's why we liked him. Because we thought he's fighting back against a system that is cost me tens of thousands of dollars when they denied my claims, or grandma died because she couldn't get coverage for what have you. And all of a sudden that justifies this act of moral cowardice that Mangione did on the streets of New York City. And somehow in the same way, the total inability to have a coherent moral framework about individual moral action because you've convinced yourself that like the system itself is functionally bankrupt, that somehow therefore individual action is we have no agents anymore. There is no such thing as a moral agent any longer, and now I identify with Lindsay Clancy, who killed her kids.
Which is, I mean, the Mangione thing is one thing. Like, people have problems with the healthcare industry, but I'm shocked that there are people rallying around somebody who killed their own kid, despite all of the drugs that she was plied with. It sounds like there's a lot of irresponsible medical professionals just doing whatever. But that doesn't give you license to kill anybody, especially your own kid. I'm surprised that this was made into a case. It's kind of like,
and it's not the defense that she's making. Crucially, right? Like that's what's extra weird about it.
Yeah,
it's like she's not making an affirmative defense. She's saying, or her attorneys are saying, I went fucking crazy, right? Like postpartum depression is a thing, and I had a psychotic break, and that's why I killed my children. And it is this tragedy that I am experiencing. But like the leveling effect of the internet has all of these psycho moms saying, yes, I feel your pain, Lindsay, I get it. It's like, I wish I could kill my kids too.
I don't know if they're
And I'm
making that
reminded
last
of-
point, but I don't know if they're making that last point, right? That they're wishing to.
If you're saying I have felt the rage of wanting to kill my kids, so I get it.
Right.
Like
Well,
everybody's felt that rage in these interpersonal relationships where you think you're going goddamn insane, but like crucially, you don't act on it in any sort of fashion, right? It diminishes an actual psychotic break. Right. Like it diminishes what it is to be the monster in that moment. To not recognize, like I don't think she doesn't recognize herself when she thinks back on those moments.
Right, but the actions are the actions. Like it would be like, oh man, I get really flummoxed on the road too. So like this road rager who plowed through 100 people, I get it. Like it sounds as absurd to me as that. Just because you can place yourself in that position as far as the feelings are valid, feel whatever, but you can't kill somebody.
She was hearing voices. That's not being
but she's
mad.
not, and that's the other thing. She's not actually the thing that they're saying they identify with. Was not the experience of being Lindsay Clancy.
Right.
She went fucking crazy.
She had a psychotic break.
Right.
She and to diminish postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis as simply having a bad temper at your kids and wanting to kill them is to tell a lie about what that actual thing is. And that's sort of what like Matt Walsh got in trouble with some of his compatriots over on the conservative side of things, because he was basically saying postpartum depression isn't a thing.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
And then Ben Shapiro had to be like, yeah, don't be stupid, please. But anyway, I was not to say that I'm amused by the whole thing, but like to suggest that thing which drives you psycho moms to stand in the bathroom and throw ice cubes into the bathtub is the same thing that led Lindsay Clancy to murder her children. Like, no, you're not. This is a very weird moment to have your feminist temper tantrum. Let's just put it that way.
Is this like an outlier of outlier cases, or are there a lot of this happening out there? Like not to the point where
it's both of those things. Usually, it doesn't get that bad.
Right, it doesn't get that bad.
But like postpartum psychosis isn't that common, but postpartum depression is very common.
Right, I've heard of that.
And
Psychosis is I've never heard of that until this case.
No, that's a thing.
Yeah.
It's just less.
Right.
Usually, it doesn't get that bad.
I mean, the story is tragic as it is. I just don't know why there's all of this controversy surrounding it. They're going to figure out some sort of suitable.
My guess would be because
punishment.
they're charging her with first-degree murder, which is crazy. That's crazy and stupid.
Yeah, first degree seems to be pretty. I don't know. Is this Massachusetts, right?
That must be the reason for the chit chat.
Okay.
Because, this could just be an awful, awful thing that happened, but now they're saying, oh, you meant to, which is weird. It's a weird choice.
Right.
Yeah, 3 counts of first-degree murder, presumably because she sent her husband away.
So there's some forethought? Is that the argument they're making?
Suggests some forethought and planning, but seems to diminish the possibility of an actual psychotic break happening. Well, yeah, maybe it's an unpleasant thing. I don't blame Lori for saying she doesn't want to talk about that lady.
Talk about it. NFL players are going to be playing in college games.
What'd you get up to this weekend, Dave?
Things are happening.
Anything fun?
Well, I went to this book club on Sunday. There were one of my friends has been in this book club for some time, and I've been meaning to go. But this book club leans heavy.
Did you like the Bible?
Not Bible, but close. A lot of self-help type of books, and I wasn't.
Those aren't books.
So I did not go to some of the previous elections, but this one it was. There's this crazy guy that's always online, David Goggins, like a Navy SEAL guy who just. He's like a glutton for punishment. He just goes out and runs for 100 miles, and he's berating others for not. I'm up at 9 a.m. at 4 a.m. doing this thing. You're not. He's trying to encourage people to do things, but he's just kind of a crazy guy. But he writes a book 8 years ago, Can't Hurt Me. He goes through how this fat guy back in the day is depressed, and he lost 100 pounds in 3 months, and he's this tough guy, and you can too, blah, blah, blah. So I read it. I went to this book club, shat on him for a little bit. What's wrong with this guy? It's kind of crazy. And It's a fun meeting. At the same time, around the same time, by the way, in my right outside of my tying to this criminal actions that we started with, right by my old apartment building, near the what used to be called the Murder Kroger, yet another fatal stabbing. Like again, I was at the book club, but there was a fatal.
So you normally don't go to book club because you don't read the self-help books, but this time
it just so happens
they're discussing a self-help book, but you're like, I guess I got to go to this one
to steer it away. So now I'm going to inject some ideas, like let's read this book next time. Try to move because how many self-books can you read? It's the same bullshit over and over again, right? But anyways, this fella
till you're better.
He stabs this guy in the neck, right? He bleeds out. They arrest him. 54-year-old man, 30 previous arrests. He was on active probation for an aggravated assault with a knife when he aggravatedly murdered somebody with a knife. Like this, I want to be in somebody's shoes kind of thing. Like there are drawbacks. I don't know who let this guy out after. That's enough information. It looks like he was kind of homeless. So like if you have like no support system and you're on your 30th infraction, there's probably a high chance it's going to be a 31st, right? Because you have no support system, no job, no nothing. You're out there on the belt line doing whatever. Somebody's, these kids, somebody I think was like egging him on because I think he was homeless. And he's like, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with him. The guy kept on fucking with them. And then there was a stabbing. Don't fuck with people.
Was it a fellow homeless that he got into a fight with? Or?
It was like a big, the guy who died was a 29-year-old black guy. And he was a 54-year-old white guy. And they did not know each other until then. And I think the 29-year-old, based on...
Unless they did. Might have been a book Bob wrote.
Yeah, maybe. But based on the other people saying that, I guess he was being harassed. Because he was kind of like disheveled and homeless. And I guess they were like, let me pick on this old guy. And he brandished
So Abe's position is not 3 strikes and you're out, but 30 strikes.
No, not 30. I'm just saying, like, you need to do the math. If somebody is incapable of not committing violent acts, and you release him to the general population and he has got not gainfully employed, the chances of reoffending, you might as well round up to 100. But anyways, other than the fatal it's making my neighborhood look shoddy. There are, it's mostly nice. Nobody dies usually, but it was a bad weekend. But the book club was fun. Met some random strangers.
Did you give them something better to read next time, or what's on the docket for next month?
On the group chat, I think the next one's like in November, so I'll start to make my campaign then. There were these 2 people that showed. I didn't know you could do this. 2 people showed up. Like we didn't read the book, but we listened to a podcast he was on, and we got the gist of it. And they kind of did. He kind of repeats the same things over and over again. So if you listen to him on Joe Rogan or on that Huberman Lab guy, you've heard this guy before.
Have you? Are you?
No. I mean, listen to him or
yeah.
I listened to him the first time he was on Joe Rogan, like back 8 years ago, and I'm like, this guy's a kook. Look at this weirdo. But like he grew up like an abusive father. Like he grew up in some bumfuck part of Indiana where there were like hardly any black people, so there were like a lot of racism. He was just like, oh, woe is me. And I turned it around. So if I can do that, like I don't want to hear your excuse. Like that's his angle. Like I faced all of these things and I still overcame. So I don't want to hear you coming up with an excuse because that's all it is. And he's still to this day running around doing whatever.
It is incredibly overrated how much people can change. I think that's fair to say. People are who they are, largely. They can do.
What about those born-again Christians? There's that transformative experience.
They're the same. Stop.
It's the same. It's the same basic person. The thing that you can't change more than anything else, I think, is, and it used to be something that I'd look for when I was, like when you would hire somebody at a pizza restaurant, I knew from the moment that I was making that hire whether or not this was going to be a good employee. And it was just, and if you were fooled in the interview by like the end of week 1, you knew this person's ceiling in terms of like how good of an employee they were going to be. And it's because people just are who they are. Right. And I think the thing that you cannot teach, at least in the context that I'm thinking of, more than anything else is willingness to work, right? Just like Are you willing to work or not? And you can usually figure that out in fucking 5 minutes.
Right.
And there are some times where like people will fool you and they'll lull you to sleep with their work. And then 6 weeks later, it's like, no, you see, I'm actually a truly lazy piece of shit. I just had to convince you that I wasn't. But you can't teach that.
Right.
That sounds like someone who is willing to work, but they need to be motivated.
Some people, it's hard to teach motivation also.
I guess if you get it early
Yeah,
enough, 'cause I mean,
for
that's what I mean.
shitty bosses.
I mean, parents install, like, I guess, could parents have an impact when they're young, like to like put a little more effort into that sweeping, and maybe it sticks.
No.
We're running into, and now is a bad time to talk about this because my son is a teenager and starting to behave like a teenager,
Yeah.
and so it's like, what are we experiencing? Just teenagerdom, or are we experiencing his character now finally truly revealed? Right, like which is the thing that's happening, and so it's gonna be a struggle to figure out how things proceed from here.
But you think the theory will hold true?
He's got two parents who aren't afraid of working hard. Is the good news?
Yeah. I was an awful student. I didn't give any shits about school because I can't think of a reason to give shits about school.
Yeah.
This is entirely self-serving. You put me at any job and I am a star employee.
Right.
So it's not necessarily a binary.
Right, that's true. I mean, to this crazy guy David Goggins' credit, one of the people in the book club, they said that they ran a marathon and they credit him, his motive. Basically, they would, I don't know, they got some audio, like some motivational clips online, and they just played it in a loop, and they got to 26.2 miles, and they said they would never do it again, but at least he motivated them enough to do that. So maybe there is something to his style.
My take on all of the self-help industry in all of its forms, whether it's the David Goggins personal improvement stuff, or my brother was reading some goober, like how to save, like it's not, like it's how to, I forget what it was, but
It's
it's
like a
some
financial thing. It's not like a,
It's financial, but it was also in the realm of like living your best life type stuff, like using the financial freedom in order to live your best life or whatever the fuck. And I automatically roll my eyes at it. And that's because like he's just gonna do what he wants. Like, and he will have made all of the choices that he made.
Yeah, but he likes perspective.
right. I mean, you don't think
He's not having his perspective challenged when he reads that book. He's functionally smelling his own farts when he reads that book, and that's fine.
He likes that perspective. What?
What?
He likes the perspective
Right.
that is his.
My take on that entire self-help industrial complex is the Schopenhauer idea. You cannot will what you. Right? You can act on the things that you want, but you cannot will what you will. Right? You cannot. A person does not choose that which is their natural true desire. Right? Like you can attempt to shape it and push it. And even to some extent act against it.
Right.
But you can't fundamentally will what you will. You just will it.
Right.
I think that the one exception is like trauma, like actual trauma, not new Gen Z trauma, but like a person is who they are. And then they're a prisoner of war. And then they're different after that. So there's some exception, I think.
Yeah, people can be changed by circumstance. I'm not convinced that people can be changed through an action of their own will unless that will is itself inborn in them.
No, that's
right?
not
like,
trauma.
All of the equipment is either there or it's not.
Right.
And I think that the difference between me and Tony Robbins and David Goggins, at least in theory, is Tony Robbins says the equipment is there in all of you. You just have to be willing to dig it out or turn the key on it or what have you. And in my opinion, my interaction with the vast majority of the human species.
Well,
Maybe
like
it's in there, but I'm not sure that everybody can fire it
Well,
up.
it's like the people who are those memory palace people.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, no, anyone can do this. Like, no,
Right.
I don't think anyone can. I think you can.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I can't.
Why don't they just live with that? I guess maybe to sell books. You're right. Like you don't see like Jordan's like anyone can dunk. It's like no, not everybody can do it. Just shut
No,
up.
there's a category of there are some amount of people who, if they work their tails off, can be in the conversation of like you simply cannot work your way into the NBA, right?
Right.
Like I could not,
Right.
no matter what I
Yes.
did.
Right. Same.
There's no amount of work and practice that I could do to get to the NBA. And I don't mean now as a fucking fat 43-year-old. I mean as like a 17-year-old who only dreams of one thing, right? Like it wouldn't matter. I would never make the NBA.
You could maybe work for them.
Yeah, I mean, I could get in the universe of
Like in the front office, like be or like a
work
coach.
in the front office, or
Coach? I don't know how basketball works. This is a horrible example for me. But like, surely there's
Yeah, but not to be a
offensive
player in the
coordinators
NBA
or
though.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah. But he like Bob would never make it in the NBA. Like just like I would never make it. It doesn't matter how early you would start. But you know, like the counterpoint is that you're a prisoner of your own mind, Bob. This is what David Goggins would say. Like you are limiting yourself. It's not true.
so, but you also have to be willing to sort of work with the tools that you have been given,
That's
right?
true, yeah.
There's an old conversation that I used to have with my buddy Jones, where he would lament that I was always like using words to win arguments. And I would say, I mean, that's not a fair way of framing our conversations. But he would, essentially, the conversation was like, oh, you're trying to use fucking language and rationality
Right.
to build this house. I'm like, well, those are the fucking tools
Right.
that are available to us,
Right.
are language and rationality. They are fit for purpose for the thing that we're trying to do here.
I'm
And-
defending both of you. These were B. Jones was a philosophy guy too,
Yes.
and they were having philosophical
Gotcha.
conversations, not the kind that Bob is normally having, where he's having a philosophical
Right.
conversation, and the rest of us are talking about like silverware.
Anyway,
I felt like that needed to be said.
the point is, Goggins could say, you know, you can do whatever you want to do. You just have to choose to do it. But like, why would I want to try to be an ultra marathoner, right?
Right.
Or like, why? Like the amount of suffering that I would have to endure in order to have like a visible six-pack, for example.
Right.
And I don't. And what I mean by that is, I am not genetic, and maybe I'm a bad example, but like I'm not genetically predisposed to have a visible six-pack, right? There are people who eat basically as I do and work out basically as I do, who are naturally just have 8% lower body fat than I do, right? And it's like that's just my burden, right? And if I really wanted to have a visible six-pack, I would have to do 10 times the amount of work that those people would have to do. So like, why am I fixated on that one notion of having a visible six-pack? I'm not.
Right.
That would be a foolish pursuit because it would be overwhelming and it would take over everything. If instead I had the drive to, like, I don't know, write a fucking book or something, like that is an avenue
there you go.
that is actually available to me, and that if I had the drive and the discipline, then that is like one imagines that's a conceivable path for me to find success in. Visible six-pack, somehow developing my right arm so that I could be the rookie in the Dennis Quaid movie and go play for the Atlanta Braves at the age of 47 or something. Like maybe there is a 43-year-old man out there who never played professional baseball, who, if he spent the next 5 years dedicating every waking moment to becoming a professional baseball player, there might be one, right? But that's the other thing about all this self-help stuff, is that for that one who does do that thing, there are 10,000 people who failed to get there. It's the thing that you see at the end of the national championship game or the World Series or whatever, and the person says, "Follow your dreams," you know, like anything is possible, and it's like, yes, Kevin Garnett, nothing is impossible if you're 7 feet tall and just a natural goddamn freak athlete and Adonis, and you just keep fucking plugging away at it. Yeah, anything can happen. You're forgetting that you're at the tip of a spear of 10 million people who had the same dream, for whom it's not going to happen.
No, you're right.
Briefly, we should talk about the news of the week, I suppose.
How briefly? Because you get to talk about one thing.
No. Anything strike you in the news this week that's worth talking about?
You can say no.
This came very last minute, but I swear to God, this Supreme Court is... I don't know what they're up to, but once again, they've done one of these like we'll let you do a thing and we'll decide later if it's okay. Like the Trump administration is trying to intercede or intercept vote by mail in many states, and many states sued to stop it from happening. But today there was a 6-3 decision saying that you can proceed. There were 2 injunctions, and they got rid of one of them in the 6-3 decision. There's still another injunction, so nothing has changed. But we are rounding the corner on Labor Day. We are 2 months away from the midterm elections, and to kind of throw this at the last second, even though, again, they did not, the 6-3 is not a merit ruling. This is basically saying that those 20 some odd states who challenged this do not have standing because they have not been harmed yet. They filed too early. And that's all that's...
I know this is a thing that you have understandable issues with this court in particular. I think it is a natural consequence, like the broader picture thing of you don't have standing because the harm hasn't been done yet. It's a broader problem of electing a president who is going to insist on breaking norms in a way that we've never seen before, right? He is jamming his little screwdriver into the holes in the system and threatening to see what happens when he pops the lid. And that's a hard thing for the Supreme Court to say, no, we're going to preemptively stop this thing from happening when we're not sure of what the action is going to be or what the consequences of that action is going to be. It's not their role. And this is the point that I've made in the past, to which you say, well, but Congress has abdicated that role and somebody needs to fucking take the goddamn wheel. But I don't see the great constitutional harm here. I understand that there's a perceived potential harm here and it might go very, very poorly.
The harm that I see is it's creating this incentive going forward, because this is, others did not do it because they respected the norms, but now that the norms are being broken and they're kind of like almost encouraged now by the Supreme Court, but by how slow they react to everything. That you can do things like they had to pay back the tariffs, right? But you can't pay back the East Wing construction, right? It would be to any future president's advantages just to go ahead and do the thing. Just do the thing. Don't worry about what the court said, and do it as fast as you can. And again, like with the tariff refund was one thing, but I will be shocked if they ruled that, you know what, you didn't go through the right path to do this demolition thing. You can't just do this on your own. But it's done. What are they gonna rule? Like that you need to destroy the East Wing and bring it back to what it was before? So you're creating this environment to where you would be foolish, any future president, you would be foolish to do it the normal way. Just go ahead and just do whatever you want, and these courts will be having to take on more and more cases because their system is flawed. It's ill-equipped to meet the moment. And you're saying, well, they have so many tools that they can use and they can't do anything, but you are inviting more of this. You're not going to get less of this sort of behavior. And it's going to be like that going forward. It's not going to be just Trump. It's going to be every president going forward. Right.
And the thing that is particularly discouraging about it is you look at which Democrats are having success, who among the Democrats is generating the most enthusiasm, and it's the people who are most willing to break things, and see what happens, right? All of the energy on the Democratic side of things right now, when it's not simply anti-Trump, is in the hands of people who describe themselves as goddamn revolutionaries.
Right.
And that's, you don't want those people getting the same reins of power, and because they will not be shy about deploying it in irresponsible ways, in the way that Trump certainly has not been either.
And anyone who would show restraint would not make it out of a primary. Like, especially if it's like as volatile as we expect it to be, coming out of the primary, they're going to have to stake their position to the, to say that we're going to disrupt things. We're not going to be like, we're going to respect the filibuster. We're not going to expand the court. They're going to have to make these pledges, and then who knows what happens next. Again, it's creating a bad precedent going forward.
Right. The headline from the Times is Supreme Court allows Trump to pursue mail voting limits for now. That's MAIL, voting limits. The administration asked the court to clear the way for President Trump's order that creates state citizenship lists and directs the Postal Service to decide who gets a mail-in ballot. In an emergency opinion, the justices said President Trump could proceed with implementing an executive order he had signed, which directed the U.S. Postal Service to help decide which voters should receive mail-in ballots. Under the executive order, the Department of Homeland Security will also create lists of U.S. citizens that the administration believes could be used to monitor voter rolls for non-citizens. On the other hand, if we're going to try to make this less alarmist, if the Supreme Court had ruled against him and the midterms went the way that I suspect and everyone suspects the midterms are going to go, he would have not just Congress but also the Supreme Court to be mad about in terms of people allowing elections to be stolen. Right. To some extent, if this costs anyone an election on Election Day, that will be bad, yes. But it will be at the margins, I suspect. Like,
yeah, there'll be a lot of close races, though.
This isn't going to be impactful in terms of being determinative of outcomes overall, I don't think.
Right. I don't think so either. Just future situations is what I'm more concerned about. I mean, I think at some point they're saying that there's no harm yet. What if there is a harm? Like, what if, because they're saying that this was just a executive order that was a directive to their own to the executive branch. So like no state has been hurt because they didn't. You don't have to comply is the argument. But like you need to see somebody get like impacted before you could. I don't understand what they're waiting for. They're waiting for somebody to
standing is a rather important concept
but what I'm saying
in
is,
law.
Right. But what I'm saying, there is such thing as like attempted murder, right? This is a different example, right? There are you don't need to commit the full crime for it to be a crime.
I don't know. To me, it's close to the free speech conversation about like prior restraint or whatever, right? Like they're essentially the argument is the Supreme Court needs to handcuff the president from doing anything that won't be acceptable, assuming that he breaks the law in the future. That's not how law works, right? Like we have laws, and if they break the law or otherwise attempt to break the constitutional system, there will be consequences for that.
Right, but this executive order is not just for the Department of Homeland Security, right? It is to interact with states. They're going to ask for states to take an action. Like, but now the Supreme Court is saying we need that action to happen. So we'll see how this shakes out. It's just, again, another fumble by this Roberts court, I believe, just based on how things will shake out. It's just going to make things worse, not better.
Yeah. All right. In Ukraine, mini computers made by NVIDIA are powering Moscow's AI drones. And that means that a United States company, and these are not, to be clear, this is not NVIDIA like sending a sales rep to the Kremlin and trying to convince Vlad to buy their chips instead of Chinese chips or something. This is aftermarket, black market type stuff where AI chips are making their way into Russian military hands and powering these drones, which is not good. Obviously, this is an Our Bogus Future segment. We thought that the drone was going to be the Infinity Beast phone that flies around you and is like a little pal of yours. But now they're being used to kill people in Ukraine. The latest was 3 folks, I believe. The miniature NVIDIA computer that Ukrainian officials say Russia has used in fully autonomous AI-guided drones is an inexpensive model designed for civilian robotics and machine vision applications, according to the company. Ukrainian forensic examiners recently found the microcomputer, the NVIDIA Jetson Orin, in the wreckage of drones launched by Russia's military in apparent tests of a self-targeting system in the city of Zaporizhzhia in southeastern Ukraine. I don't know that there's a ton to say about this. I was just struck by how awful the immediate future is going to be.
You know, there's going to be, in retrospect, a time before, like, it'll be before drones and after drones, because, you know, it's not going to remain in the war context, right? These drones are, because the barrier to entry is so low, they're getting cheaper and cheaper. And this would be like, you know, remember Al-Qaeda and ISIS? They were big fans of the Toyota pickup truck, you know, like this, for whatever reason, they just had a bunch of those. Like, Toyota can't do anything about that. You know, they sell these cars everywhere, and they got a hold of it. Just like this is a aftermarket, like it's available to buy at different locations. So there's not much you can do about it. And I think going forward, everybody will have access to this. So we'll have police departments deploying drones everywhere. Maybe you'll have drones at the schools, you know, to harden up those targets. It's going to become a thing where it's everywhere. You'll just be hearing that stupid sound everywhere in the coming year.
If someone could use a hoe, but drone, it would work. Drones on the crack pipe.
I'm sincerely still surprised that, like, every week that goes by that we don't have a drone attack in the United States that is some building in Atlanta or Spokane, Washington, or like whatever. Like, it's too cheap, it's too easy, and they're impossible to defend against. And on a military setting, they're practically impossible to defend against. And that's in terms, like, just strictly by a question of a war of attrition. If I have all of these drones that cost $300 to $500 or something, and I can put exploding ordinances in them, and it costs you $1 million, for example, to stop that drone from exploding where you want it to explode, I'm going to win, even if I have considerably less resources than you do. Right,
you can bleed them dry. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and again, it's relatively easy to get, and it'll be cheaper still. It'll be interesting to in the coming years, the threat of a nuclear weapon being used recedes, but now you have this death by 1,000 cuts problem where it's hard. We're gonna have like nets in major metropolitan, major cities to prevent.
How do you if you're a terrorist or a state sponsor of terror, how do you not attack a college football game with 110,000 people in the stands with half a dozen drones?
So long.
How has it not happened
yet?
That
scene. There's the scene in the third Batman. Yes. With the Steelers game, how does this not happen?
Right, and you can send a swarm of drones. I don't know what the sort of defensive systems you have, but like if you get some of them, fine, who cares? But some of them will get through. It's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. Very briefly on a very uninteresting topic that came up a whole bunch this weekend on the Sunday shows with people talking about data centers.
Oh yeah, this is like a toxic issue in the. Everywhere it seems like it seems to be. It hasn't been turned into a political kind of left-right thing. There seems to be a lot of people that just don't trust these data centers.
Right. Well, in part because they do have, like, unlike with the pipeline thing, which is the closest I can like the nearest analogy that I've been able to come up with is people who are always protesting the fucking pipeline construction,
the Keystone and the like.
Right, but it's everywhere, and it's all or it used to be everywhere and all of the time. Maybe it's a relic of pre-pandemic days, but people always getting big mad about pipeline construction, and it's like you're just literally anti-civilization at the.
But those are like specific like environmental types, right? This seems to be like a NIMBY thing, which is a thing that's that's everywhere. Every state has like, don't build it in my neck of the woods, and you're going to affect
Right, well, they have a leg to stand on. This is where I think it's a little bit different than the pipeline stuff, where the leg that they have to stand on is if you put this massive electrical and resource consumption hog in my neighborhood, effectively, where I now have to compete with this building for my electricity and my water needs, which like, and then you go online and you see some fucking dopey Elon Musk a celebrator, like somebody who's in Elon's replies all the time. It's like, well, actually, we flush way more water away than the supercomputers or the data mining centers use in a day. It's like, well, yeah, man.
I can't help flushing.
7 billion people have to use the fucking toilet. And that's an obvious collective resource that we all share, right? Like, this is something that matters. The elimination of waste is a human civilizational good, and nobody's had the conversation about whether or not these data centers are a civilizational good, especially when it seems that the benefits of the data centers continue to accrue to a small group of companies that are all worth billions upon billions of dollars.
Right. And it probably doesn't help the fact that the cheerleaders for this would be just as happy if, like, all the people in those neighborhoods were out of a job because of all the advancements, right? So it's like, this is just like a symbol of our potential future ruin, right? So, like, they're not going to invite it willingly. And some of these local councils are doing things underhanded, like they're not opening it up for discussion, they're just kind of passing it, and they're getting all this pushback.
Right, well, and like governors of Pennsylvania, as different as the, like, Shapiro in Pennsylvania and Abbott in Texas, right? Both, and Bashir, and, like, Democrats and Republicans alike 5 years ago, super happy to invite the data centers in, because it's like, oh, this is jobs, this is money, this is investment in our community, and this is all to the good. And now all of a sudden it's getting a bad rap.
It is not just a bad rap. It is a toxic kind of environment, to the point where, like you said, all these otherwise pro data center types are punting. They're doing moratoriums. Hey, let's look into it. Basically, they just want to kick it past November, and they'll probably quietly go back to installing other data centers. But in Ohio, like, I think they did internal numbers, and they were concerned that they're going to lose the Senate seat just on account of this one issue.
Right. I've complained in the past about the way that, like, a cost of a 20-ounce bottle of Coke or whatever, it doesn't include the cost of the waste, right? Like, the thing that bothered me about, and of course now it's like, I don't know what the fuck else is in it. It's $3 goddamn at the checkout counter for a 20-ounce Coke. I guess we are paying for the goddamn plastic bottle. But, like, you go to get Chinese takeout or whatever, and they give you half a dozen pieces of styrofoam container, and it's no sweat off of anybody's back, because that cost the Chinese takeout place fucking 3 cents a go or whatever, right? It's just far too cheap. But the environmental cost is borne by all of us, right? There's no, to this point anyway, we haven't done a great job of factoring in the social harm or the environmental harm, or however you want to judge the harm, the sort of the larger social cost of a lot of the products that we buy is not factored in, because it's a hard thing. All of those variables are a hard thing to get a reasonable handle on, right? Like, and it's everything is trade-offs, and it's hard to put a number on those sorts of things. It's what makes something like a market for carbon offsets kind of arbitrary and difficult to work out, right? Or any tax, really, along those lines, right? Any consumptive sin tax essentially is arbitrary, and you put a number on it, and yeah, it's good that fewer people smoke cigarettes or fewer people drink as a result of this number, but you've got to find that sweet spot there. Right. The thing with the data centers that strikes me as fair is that it is, or the criticism of them as fair is, like, it's obviously wrong to, with no input from the community, have a data center built that all of a sudden wants to suck up, say, 20% of the available water in the reservoir. And by definition, in a system that relies on market forces to set prices for things like utilities, whether they be electricity or water or whatever, that's going to drive up the cost of those utilities for the people in that zip code. And that seems like a discussion worth having in a public-facing sort of way. Right. And I think that these companies that have ungodly sums of money and other resources at their behest would do well to invest in resource generation themselves, right? Like if you want to be an AI data mining company, if Meta has all of the, or Google has all of these data mining needs and therefore all of this resource consumptive needs, they should consider generating their own goddamn resources. Right. That seems worth investing in. And maybe that's how we get nuclear power. Like maybe that's what ultimately does it. Right. Is Zuckerberg is like, I'm sick of this fucking bad PR and I've got all of this goddamn land. I'm going to build my own nuclear reactor over here. And yeah, there'll probably be a fight about that. Right. But like if the problem is we are socializing cost and privatizing profit, right? That's sort of the fundamental thing that is making people upset here, right? It's the broad socialization of cost at the same time that they privatize the benefit of this thing. Maybe the way around that is to, because I don't think that the way around it is to socialize the benefit, right? Instead, privatize the cost up front, right? And that seems to me, I mean, I don't know what shape that takes. It is probably silly to imagine a bunch of private nuclear reactors being built around the country, but it's one way to do it. Right.
It seems though the approach is this is too hot a topic. Let's pretend we're going to do a moratorium, to take in public comment, and then once you're no longer facing the voters, sometime in 27, maybe some other issue comes to light, maybe the drone wars begin and people are distracted, then you quietly continue to roll out your build out. Because, in the reports over the weekend, they're saying like Texas already has like 300 completed with like hundreds of more to go. So like they're able to build 300 data centers mostly quietly, and so I'm assuming they're going to go back to that plan in 27 and then hope people forget about it by 28.
All right. The Braves played a game last night against the Milwaukee Brewers, and it was in Pennsylvania at the Little League World Series. It was the Little League Classic on ESPN, and this would otherwise not be terribly noteworthy, except that there was a little leaguer, because what they did is they play this game on a major league sized field, but the facility is not. It's not 40,000 or 60,000 people that can show up to this stadium. It's just a few thousand people seats. And they just invite all of the teams that are participating in the Little League World Series to be the people who are there to watch the game.
Oh, neat.
And during the ESPN broadcast, they would bring on a couple of telegenic Little Leaguers to ask major league players who were at the game but not currently participating in the game questions. And so, like,
because the major league game was being played, so they weren't participating.
No. Chris Sale was one of the major leaguers being interviewed, yes. But obviously he was not pitching in this game. But so they have Chris Sale on, and he's there with the ESPN dudes sitting in the crowd watching the game. But they also bring on this kid to ask a question, and this is an example of. David, like if you're a self-help guru and you say, hey man, follow your dreams, do whatever you want. This is the kid who succeeds in his dream to eventually be on television as like a sportscaster or what have you, because he very clearly has what it takes.
So, and just, again, like I said before, just keep having fun and enjoying yourself and enjoying your teammates and the time you have with them.
Sure.
Any other questions, Frank?
I think I can get one more in.
Go ahead, buddy.
Go for it. Absolutely.
Oh, let me think. I know.
This one's off the dome. I love it.
First of all, and MLB The Show, you're my favorite pitcher to pitch with.
I appreciate that.
That slider, when did you start developing your slider? Because I know it's in my opinion, one of your best pitches and one of my favorite pitches to throw in the show. But what age did you start developing it, and then at what age did it become like one of your better pitches?
Great question.
Not bad off the dome, right?
Yeah, that was, man. Whew. It's coming for y'all's jobs. Mine too, eventually, I guess.
Yours first.
Yeah, right. So I think I want to say it was probably right around high school when I started. I threw a little bit more over the top, so it was more of a curveball. But I would say I really started working on my slider when I was in college, really. But it was.
Riley yanks one after Dubon finally decided to take off.
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was like late middle school, early high school is when I really started working on it. You know, I threw some off-speed pitches and stuff like that, but yeah, you get. I mean, again, just changing speeds and changing eye levels more important than spin for you guys right now. Yeah, you got to take care of your arm, and beating it up at an early age is not what you want to do. So, you know, the most important pitches you get are coming. You know, they're not right now. So take care of yourself and. Again, just fastball, change up, you know, change eye levels, you know, in, out, up, down. That's the most important right now for y'all.
Thanks, Chris. That's all I got, guys.
All right,
Awesome.
you're thank you, Frank. Great job.
That was incredible.
It's pretty cool that you get to play him in the show, and then you get to ask him not only one, but a couple questions.
Same,
Yeah.
same with The Miz today. He came up to the arcade room while I was playing MLB The Show. I was like,
Yeah, he might have a little bit better information for you. He's that guy's in a league of his own.
he just said, I asked him for the same advice, and he said, throw middle, and pray.
Well,
when you can throw 104.
I was gonna say when you're flinging 105, that's you know, there's a lot more of throwing, a lot less praying for him.
This kid rules.
Anyway, that kid was great. There was a moment at the end of this segment also where, because there's
Oh, it's like a second later.
the controversy, somewhat. I mean, as usual, anytime there's a shakeup at ESPN, it becomes a point of like cultural goddamn conversation, which is very silly. But they're sort of like the New York Times in that sense, right? Like when something happens at the New York Times, we all have to fucking talk about it. And when something happens at ESPN, we all have to talk about it. Carl Ravitch was among the people who, longtime ESPN types who have been let go recently, or will be shortly. Their contracts will not be renewed, which is usually how ESPN goes about this. And it's a cost-cutting thing, right? Carl Ravitch has been with ESPN for 30-something years, and therefore he has advantages in contract negotiations through the years that he is going to make more money than whoever they're going to replace him with next season.
Right,
right?
But they're doing this to save up for Stephen A. and Pat McAfee, right? The only two people that are getting ungodly sums of money at ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, they're paying a ton of money to McAfee and to Stephen A. Smith. The real thing, I mean, and it's fine if you want to divide the pie in terms of the talent money that is available. Yes, that is one way of understanding it. The reality is they are over leveraged on their live sports commitments, right? The thing that they actually, when you look at what the actual pie is spent on, or where the money in the pie is spent, it's on live sports. Right. And yeah, McAfee commands a large amount of money, and Stephen A. Smith commands a large amount of money, but that's not $3 billion to show a Monday Night Football game for a decade or whatever the money is that they're paying, right? Anyway, the point is Carl Ravitch, who's been doing this for fucking forever, was given, to ESPN's credit, I think, and to Ravitch's credit, he was told that he wasn't coming back and he could take the buyout and be done, or he was told he could finish out the year and keep working and get to do this Little League World Series again, which is something that he's been doing for as long as that I've known that you could watch the Little League World Series on ESPN. It's been a Carl Ravitch thing in my memory. And he seems to genuinely enjoy going out there and dealing with the kids and calling these games for the kids. And Chris Sale, at the end of this clip here, at the end of this interview, as he's leaving, he's like, hey, man, I just want to let you know.
I do want to say before we get out of here, Carl, I got to say congratulations and thank you congratulations on playing some more golf, and thank you for the 30 years, man. You were a staple in my in my living room for 30 years watching ESPN. You made it fun to watch ESPN, so I just want to say thank you for everything you did, man. It was awesome. You're one of the good ones. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's Chris Sale.
Nice act.
Certainly one of the good ones, even after I was talking about the floundering Braves. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Good man.
It was just a nice moment at the end there.
That is nice. Would you do what he did with Carl? Would you stick around?
Yeah, I think so. He seems to still, despite himself, be a company man.
Right.
Like he
So
was.
also, how much is he being paid?
But he's going to get paid that money regardless, right? Isn't he like?
Right, he's getting paid. He would have gotten the money regardless.
He's
but
getting paid, but how
he's
much
probably
is
getting
it?
paid a couple $1 million a year to do what he does.
Okay. Yeah, you can work a little for free before you never have to work again.
No, but they're firing me, right? Yeah, like all right, I'll take my talents out. Although you
from
can't.
your dream job. You're getting fired from your job that you choose.
Right.
And how old is he? He seems old.
I mean, he's in his 50s. I don't know.
Yeah,
if he's,
he can sail off into the sunset after calling the Little League World Series.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. He's probably not selling off into the sun. I mean, I assume that I have no idea what Carl Ravitch's financial reality is. He's making $2 or $3 million a year.
Lifestyle creep, happens to the best.
Right. Presumably, he thought he could do this until he didn't want to do it anymore, right? Like and maybe that's foolish.
What was that money-saving book you were talking about earlier? Maybe he needs to get on that.
There was a bigger blow up around Ryan Clark and his departure from ESPN.
Well, that's the timing, right? Because
right, word had sort of leaked to Twitter while he was live on SportsCenter or NFL or one of these ESPN shows that he was doing, one of the talky chuckle fuck shows,
right,
and. So they, like, during a commercial break, they brought him aside and was like, hey, just so you know, before you find out somebody tweets it at you, we're not renewing your contract or what have you. And I don't know.
I find it odd that I guess the timing hinges on when the contract was last signed and when it runs through, but you would think that they would come up with these contracts to where it sunsets, like, in the dead of the whatever, like Ryan Clark is a football guy, so like if it's like March, you can quietly get rid of him and then like re-up the next guy to do the NFL draft and whatnot, But like to do it, like I know the contract is the contract, but like just the timing is just poor because you're in the run-up to the start of the regular season, and you're getting rid of people who have been there for a while. Just get rid of them when the season ends in February or March.
Yeah. I do think also from a business standpoint, like it makes way more sense to unload the Ryan Clarks and the Carl Ravitches of the world than it does to unload the SVPs and the Stephen A. Smiths and the Pat McAfees of the world, right? Like those,
they're putting so much on so few personalities, right? So now you have two. You have Stephen A. and McAfee. McAfee, back when he was a punter for my Colts, he got drunk and he's trying to swim at some canal in Indianapolis. Like he can do weird things. Tony Romo, everybody loved him at the start of his CBS tenure, and now because of this drunk driving thing, he's out. Like, what happens?
Is he out?
I mean, he's not gonna be. He's off the A team. Like, I don't think he's doing any games yet. He's like suspended indefinitely or something. So they may try to get under that contract.
Is Nance done, or does Nance have like 1 or 2 more years?
That's a good question. Actually, I'm not sure, but. What if McAfee does something stupid or Stephen A. does something stupid? They're both reliable.
And if he does something stupid, they'll put it on fucking Instagram and everybody will love it.
No,
that's what they do.
Undefendable kind of stupid, not like the usual stupid. Like in the past, they had like a pretty deep bench, but now ESPN is turning into what MTV was at the end with that ridiculousness show where they just kept on showing ridiculousness 23 hours out of the day.
Legendary sports broadcaster Jim Nance has targeted April 14th, 2036 as his ideal retirement date. He plans to step away from the microphone after calling the 100th playing of the Masters at Augusta National.
Is he in his 60s? How old is Nance? He's got to be well into his 60s, right? 62, 63, if I had to guess.
I would have guessed a little bit older.
Really? Let's see. He is 67 years old.
67. Yeah.
So
My
he'll
parents'
be like, wow. Okay, we'll see.
Abe's starting to think about making the call.
That's such a weird, that's a pretty, quite the time horizon for a 60-plus-year-old.
Yeah.
But anyways, you never know. You know, you want to have a
Abe,
broad
we'll see
team,
about
a
that.
deep bench at ESPN. They don't have that.
And McAfee's going to be on Monday Night Football this year.
Yeah,
now,
they're
too, I
trying to
think.
get their money's worth. So he's going to do the college game day, and he's doing the Corso thing, despite it would have been just the nice thing just to retire it, but he's going to do the mascot
Are
thing.
they bringing the headgear back?
I saw something like he got Lee Corso's blessing or some nonsense. I'm sure he didn't, but he's doing that on Saturday. He's doing the Monday night thing. He does the daily show. Something's got to give.
What do you think about that? Should they have retired the headgear?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a Corso thing. Like, it's such a uniquely him thing.
I'm still mad about the way that they did that send-off.
No, this isn't real.
I mean, he's old as shit. I mean, how else can you
This
do this?
headline from Yahoo Sports says Pat McAfee refutes fabricated claim he's taking over Lee Corso's
Abe,
head.
you got by the AI fake news bullshit.
I apologize, Pat McAfee. Although we'll find out.
We were talking about this at the beach.
Are they?
Yeah, we were talking about it recently, and the general consensus was that it should be done with, that you shouldn't continue the headgear thing. But you've got to, I mean, he could do something, right?
He can do it with that. I mean, he does his little spiel.
He does things. He stands up. He takes his shirt off.
Just do that.
And he makes weird noises.
Right.
He does enough.
Yeah. Right. Are they doing, I know we got a sports show later this week, but are they doing College Game Day in earnest this upcoming weekend?
Yeah.
So,
in Ireland.
We'll find out,
I mean, I say that like I know.
Right.
They always have.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they?
We'll find out. He'll do something.
He'll speak in a fake Irish accent. I can't stand him.
All right, Abe, it's now time to play America's favorite game show.
No, it's not.
Did
No,
Mark
it's
Strassman,
10:30.
CBS News.
Then we're not playing the other game.
America's favorite game show. 9:30. Senior.
It will be 10:30.
How dare you? National correspondent. Get off a good one. I would like to, and I have good news. For a while, I was worried that Mark Strassman's there's no cure for COVID-era racism, or there's no vaccine for COVID-era racism was lost to history, because in the past I have attempted to find this, and it wasn't on the CBS website. That the Face of the Nation entire show was not previously available the last time I went and looked for it. The good news is I found it.
Oh, nice.
And it is glorious. It is every bit as awful and wonderful as I remember.
The so-called UK variant, blamed for up to 30% of new infections. Viral spread. The TSA reports 8 straight days of more than 1 million people flying. Relaxed COVID restrictions and resentful attitudes, like this mask burning in Arizona.
We are the people, and we're done putting a muzzle on our face.
In the vaccine rollout, more than 43 million Americans have been fully vaccinated, over half of them aged 65 and over. But there's no vaccine for COVID-era racism. 3 spas here in Atlanta became homicide scenes. 8 murder victims, 6 of them Asian women. The confessed killer could face Georgia's new hate crime law. And the murders spotlighted the increasing risk to Asian Americans. You bum, this 75-year-old woman yelled in Chinese. In San Francisco, she beat her attacker bloody with a stick.
Is painful and infuriating at the same time. The hell is wrong with us?
During the pandemic, thousands of Asian Americans have been assaulted, physically and verbally.
They've been attacked, blamed, scapegoated, and harassed. We cannot be complicit.
It's a COVID contradiction. Vaccines have made millions of us feel more protected, but many Asian Americans feel more vulnerable than ever.
That's Mark Strassman.
Good old days. It's like living in a different time,
Right?
wasn't it?
Holy
it was
shit.
fucking insane.
It was.
Margaret Brennan had braces or Invisalign. She was pregnant.
Only 5 years ago, right? That's crazy.
So relieved to have found that clip because
where did you find it on the YouTube?
No, it's back on the CBS. The episode did not exist on CBS's website. I don't know if they were going through a server transition or something the last time I looked for it, but it's back. So.
Oh, nice.
All right, but this is actually from last month. This is Mark Strassman on the CBS morning show.
Details this morning about an urgent mission to save a NASA science satellite, the Swift Observatory. And I'm not talking about Taylor's wedding watch. It is falling back into the Earth's atmosphere, and it is at risk of burning up. Mark Strassman is here to tell us about the daring rescue operation. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Nate. We've got a Swift theme going on here, as you probably know. The backstory is this: some recent intense solar activity hit the telescope hard. It's losing altitude faster and faster, and NASA is desperate to save it. And the race is on to boost its altitude before it's too late. For unimaginable energy and power, nothing in the cosmos compares to a gamma ray burst, the death of a massive star.
A nuclear weapon going off doesn't even compare to the magnitude of energy that comes out of these things. And it's literally the biggest explosions in the universe.
Sean Donegal-Goldman, NASA's head of astrophysics, told us nothing pinpoints gamma-ray bursts like the orbiting Swift Observatory.
We have ignition.
NASA launched the $500 million Swift telescope in 2004. It's been a first alert for scientists to pivot telescopes to the right place in the sky. But Swift's falling back to Earth faster than expected, and without help, it will burn up in the atmosphere.
I mean, how close are you to losing Swift? If we don't do something, it will come out of orbit by the end of this calendar year. So the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking.
In an unprecedented rescue mission, a plane will take off from a remote Pacific island and drop an airborne rocket. NASA hopes it will launch a space robot into orbit to dock with Swift, and with centimeter-level precision, grab it with 3 robotic arms. The robot's engines would fire to raise Swift's orbit and extend its life another 10 years.
We're trying to do one of the most technically complex things in space on an incredibly accelerated timeline.
Gon-hee Lee is CEO of Catalyst Space, the startup NASA hired to rescue Swift less than a year ago.
Our job was to move very quickly and get on orbit.
Success not guaranteed, though, right?
You're right. I mean, this is a high-risk, high-reward mission.
The goal of the mission, which launches tomorrow, is to raise Swift's orbit about 150 miles higher than it is now, which would take about 4 months. If successful, the mindset about satellites could also change from disposable to serviceable. Could be a blueprint to extend the life of other aging satellites, including the Hubble Space Telescope. So
high stakes.
Oh, yeah. And it turns out you can call AAA to get a tow in space.
Well, I like the guy in your piece. He was like, yeah, high stakes indeed.
Yeah, he's thinking my boss is watching, and these are expensive projects.
They really are.
Mark, thank you very much. Always good to have
All
you.
right, I did Mark Strassman, CBS News' senior national correspondent, get off a good one.
That was a good segment, but no, I did not count any within the segment. He threw that at the tail end, AAA.
Ooh, sorry, Mark. Try again next time. Yeah, AAA at the end there.
Yeah.
Burleson, coming back from the segment,
Yes.
says high stakes, right? And
Yeah.
that's Burleson trying to sneak in a good one there.
Yeah, he had one
can't give
earlier
it to
too.
Strassman.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, like I thought he was trying to do like an Asian face thing. Like I thought he was making fun of the guy.
Vlad Duthier, whatever his name is.
And then this chick at the end makes some quip about how the guy is worried about the boss watching. Did she not pay attention? That's the CEO of that fucking company. Show the man some respect.
What do they tell them when they go back to the studio? Like, just banter for 30 seconds?
It's very uncomfortable.
They can't all be that 12-year-old.
That's right.
Also, I know this is a very sensitive and difficult operation. It's going to cost many millions of dollars. This seems easy to me.
Oh, yeah?
This doesn't seem like that big a deal. We should be able to do this. All the other shit we can do, we can't match satellites' current rate of speed.
We can't have a chit-chat on the other side of the moon, Bob.
Now,
we can
use
a rocket and do stuff.
That CEO guy says high risk, high reward. I understand the reward in salvaging this thing, but like, what is the risk? It's just going to burn up, right? It's
Could
not going to hit
break.
anybody.
It's going to break anyway, right? Like, there's no.
Yeah, but-
the only risk here
but-
is in the amount of money being spent.
Right.
Money. That's
Right.
the risk. Can we be done?
That's not that risky. It's not like if it fails, it's going to hit like, Asia or something. It'll be fine.
Yeah. You've been listening to Cast Iron Brains, a podcast with Bob and Abe. Find the show on Substack, brainiron.substack.com for more from us. The opening and closing themes of the show are composed by Mark Gillig. Tetramermusic.com, Tetramer music.com for more from Mark. Abe, did you make it to the movies this weekend?
I did. I went to go see the latest from Jason Statham. Mutiny is the name of the movie. If you've seen one Jason Statham movie, you've seen them all, as they say, and this was no different. Same kind of thing.
I've seen any.
You're missing out, Lori. I mean, so this theater,
sure I am.
this was a 50-seater, like on the small side of the auditoriums they have in my local theater. It was packed, dude heavy. Lots of dudes my age.
Tracks.
Sorry, what was the name of this latest Statham?
Mutiny. And, he's like former military, he's kind of just there. And he's like, I think he's like a bodyguard for some guy. His protectee gets killed and he's trying to get to the bottom of it. Ends up on a boat. And I don't know, I thought Mutiny, like you had to be among the crew to do it. Like you can't be like an outsider going into a boat and declare mutiny, right?
You're just a pirate, right?
Right, yeah. Like I was
You're
like,
a pirate.
I didn't get it. But what was interesting, it was even though like theaters are known to be quiet environments so people can watch the movie, this movie was like, a very forgettable Jason Statham movie, right? It's not like one of his best, but it's...
Abe, you saw this movie this weekend. Pop quiz, hot shot. What is Jason Statham's character's name in this movie?
Cole something? Cole...
Oh, wow. I didn't think you were going to get it. I looked at it. I Googled Mutiny, and the film popped up, and it said Cole Reed. And I thought,
Cole
there's
Reed.
no way that fucking generic ass,
It's...
Like, how many times has Tom Cruise played a character named Jack or John?
That's
it's like,
true.
I can't answer that.
It's remarkable how, like I said, like the plot is exactly almost the same as like the beekeeper or a working man or a this or a that, whatever it is. But there were at least 2 occasions, maybe 3, where it was like an applause reaction to something that happened on screen, and usually some bad guy like got a little mouthy, and Statham sorted him out. Like they bashed his head in or whatever, his skull, and it's like all the blood comes down, and the audience is like, yeah, like they were very happy to see justice meted out in this way. Like on multiple occasions, I was like, this is an interesting crowd. They should do like some sort of survey afterwards to talk to them about what they thought. But usually these kind of movies don't elicit like much. It's not like
this phenomenon that you're describing is horrific to me. This is very bad news for humanity, in my opinion. But it also might answer a question that I had this weekend, which was we were watching television and a commercial came on, and I nearly threw a fit asking the question, do they just think we're all retarded? Like, or are we all actually retarded? Like, is it possible that we're all just retarded? Because
You made us watch the commercial again.
I'm going to make you. I'm going to make you watch the commercial again now. In fact.
All right. Instead of doing the music show.
Oh, this is the Liberty Bibbity guy.
Liberty Bibbity. That's my name. Your name's Liberty Bibbity? You betcha. And I'm here to tell everyone it feels great getting great coverage and savings on car insurance with Liberty Mutual.
That's my line, Liberty Bibbity.
You're that guy from the commercial. May I have your autograph?
Of course.
What's it say? Great coverage, great savings.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
Liberty.
See, this is a recent trend.
Who is that commercial trying to speak to? What is it trying to speak about?
If I had,
I wrote about this phenomenon in a more intelligent way years ago. I think the title of the blog post was "It's Always Been Thus," and it started with a discussion about like beer commercials and The Simpsons. And the one of the theses of the piece was that Eat My Shorts has it both ways, right? That Eat My Shorts is stupid. Right. It doesn't mean anything. Right. It's it has no actual content. Right. Right. It's not actually.
You've gone over this on this podcast.
I'm sure that I have. But you can laugh at it. The dummies in the audience can laugh at it, and the relatively smart people in the audience can laugh at the dummies for laughing at it, right? Eat My Shorts has it both ways. Many beer commercials operate in this same fashion, which is that the target market is both the idiot who's sincerely guffawing at the display, but also me, who I'm supposed to be amused by how stupid the person is who is guffawing at this commercial, right?
But do you not think that their sole concern is that this brand, whatever they're trying to push, gets stuck in people's head, that they associate it with whatever? So apparently they're not concerned that it's something nonsensical like Liberty Bibberty or Emu Limu or We Have the Meats or whatever. It doesn't matter how dumb it is. They're thinking like this is going to break through all the noise and people will remember our name.
We Have the Meats communicates effectively the thing that Arby's is selling, right? Yeah. They have a pile of meats, and for $7 to $15, I can go get some.
But that's besides the point, right?
Liberty Bibberty is just gibberish. Right? It's actual gibberish.
Liberty Gibberty.
But if you did a man on the street bit, people who don't know who the vice president is, but if you ask them to do associations, like if you did Liberty Bibberty, they would like that Liberty Mutual or whatever. They'll enough people will connect the dots because it pierced through the noise, And I think that's all they're caring to do, no matter how stupid it is, and it is remarkably stupid, but. This seems to be a concerted effort to...
How insurance is a racket is the amount of money that insurance companies pay to advertise on television. Because they overwhelm almost all other industries.
State
it feels
Farm,
like
Progressive, and they all have like goofy ass stories, and like you're right, there are so many of them. There's that Allstate guy, like Mayhem or whatever his name is. Like, there's just, like, during the football seasons, it's just cars and insurance.
And prescriptions.
Yeah.
I don't know that it says anything about the culture. Right. I don't know that for certain, right? You're right. The idea here is to get the brand to stick in somebody's head such that when they go shopping for car insurance next time where their kid comes of age and they need to get them car insurance, the idea is I like those Geico commercials and therefore I will see what they've got for me, I guess. But it's hard for me to be talked to in that fashion and not become personally offended on behalf of the entire conscious public.
Right.
Like it's offensive to me. And I just don't I don't know who it's talking to. Like it's one thing. I don't know. Like you have the handsome dude there. Like he's generically handsome dude is Liberty guy, and it's like yeah, sure, handsome dude sells car insurance product, and we are in a spot in our culture right now where it's just acceptable to say this is a dummy, right? Like here's an example of it. Like if this was yoked Yake from State Farm, he's not allowed to be that fucking stupid, right? He can be a little silly, but he's not allowed to be that fucking stupid. And I'll let you draw your own conclusions out there, my Stormfront brothers and sisters, as to why that case might be.
Because white guys are the stupidest,
right? Because but we are permitted to laugh at the actual infantilization and retardation of this man, right? Like
that's art imitating life.
Yeah, sure. But like that is an acceptable target. I just don't know why it helps you sell car insurance.
Right. And the last thought I have on this mutiny thing, I've noticed with Jason Statham, lately, or maybe it's been for a while, I just haven't noticed it, a very sexless kind of character. He does the...
That's just movies now.
He does the thing like to save people, but there's never like a love interest that they work into. Like in the past, that used to be like just a standard thing. Like,
no, they don't do that in movies anymore.
If it was Jean-Claude Van Damme, he'd have a blonde that he was banging, and you'd probably get to see her tits, right? Like that's
He's 400 years old.
No, but I'm saying Jason Statham is just making Jean-Claude Van Damme movies 30 years later or whatever, and Jean-Claude Van Damme would have a smoking hot blonde who he was, or mystery brunette who he was banging, and you'd probably get to see her tits. That's just not the. It's just not the case anymore.
Not the case, yeah.
Yeah, it's not him. It's movies.
Right. What did we watch? Anything?
We watched Field of Dreams.
We watched Field of Dreams with the children. The children had never seen Field of Dreams. And
no kidding. How did they like it?
They liked it. I found it... Like, Field of Dreams is a very cloying movie, like, obviously. I mean, I like the movie for what it is. I get wrapped up in the emotionality of it at the end. It really needed a once-over on the script.
It's really weird. I didn't remember it being that weird.
I'll have to watch it again. It's been many, many years. Like,
is it a book?
It was a book, yeah.
It seems like the book is probably better.
Oh, I suspect that it's probably not.
Oh, yeah?
It's just
I've never read it.
Everybody goes... This guy's like, hey, I'm having a psychotic break. And his wife's like... follow that. And then he finds another person.
I mean, to be fair,
and he's
fucking
like,
hippies
hey,
suck, right? And these
he's
are
like, hey,
these
I'm
are
crazy. And James Earl Jones is like, yeah, I don't know about you. And then he's like, but what if yes?
Right.
And he's like, all right, I guess I'll go along with it. Like there was too much that went right.
To be fair, he says, I need to build a baseball field in the cornfield, and his hippie wife is like, all right, sweetie, follow your dreams, I guess. And then an actual fucking ghost shows up and starts playing baseball.
Yeah, and
from
nobody
the
acts like that's
cornfield.
weird.
No, they act like it's weird, but like, well, shit, I guess this is what we're doing, right? Like, you're not going to, at this point now, yes, I will listen to Kevin Costner when he says the next weird-ass thing. He summoned a ghost in his cornfield to play baseball with.
What other tricks does he have? Yeah.
It's obviously a classic, and it is very effective. The last moment where he finally meets his dad, like it is too much throughout, and it's very nearly too much at the end. But I would be lying if I said it wasn't tremendously affecting and effective with the trick that it pulls at the end.
Also, you know what else is weird? The heartthrob persona that I remember of the 90s Kevin Costner, he's not that good looking.
Oh, no?
Or I don't know. He's fine.
Yeah.
I don't hate him.
Right.
But like, I'm like, this is what people were into?
Well,
were people swooning over Kevin Costner in his peak?
Yes.
Yeah, like Dances with Wolves era Costner, very sexiest man alive type. I don't know if he ever won sexiest man alive. I assume that he did.
But he's like not.
Lori wouldn't have voted for him, as it turns out. The thing that I was struck not quite by that, but I think the kids made mention of like they're way too old to be who they are.
They thought they were older.
That is my children being poisoned by all of the Botox and like the fit average people in their lives. Like,
also, styling and film quality. Like if you just remastered it, they probably wouldn't have thought it.
Right, but like, who was in We Bought a Zoo with Matt Damon?
Jennifer Connelly?
No, was that ScarJo? Who was the wife in We Bought a Zoo?
The other one's wife, not Matt Damon. Ben Affleck's wife, Jennifer Garner.
No, it's Scarlett Johansson is in We Bought a Zoo. I've never seen the movie. It was just the first thing that sprung to mind. But like, not to say that We Bought a Zoo and Field of Dreams are the same movie, but similar. Matt Damon, popular sort of heartthrobby type, but also sort of dadly in his way. Matt Damon and Scarlett Johansson are way hotter in 2011's We Bought a Zoo than Kevin Costner and whatever. Like, first of all, the chick who scored the role as the wife would never be cast today. Like I thought she's very good in the role. She's sort of an annoying to me,
very annoying
personally character, but like she does exactly what is asked of her. Like she brings the right energy to the role. Would never be cast in the 2020s today because she's just not hot enough, right? Like she's just not traditionally attractive enough. The person who gets that role in 2020 is Scarlett Johansson, who say what you will about her, she's fucking hot, right? Like it's just there are certain roles that normal people more or less got cast in a couple of generations or a generation ago, who Hollywood is not available to you anymore. This has come up, I think, in like conversations about television. Like even when you watch like The Sopranos is probably an unfair point of reference because it's like the best television show ever made. But like you go back and you watch TV shows from the 80s and the 90s, and it's just a cross section of normal looking America. Right? But then you go and you turn on like Chicago Fire PD, whatever the fuck, or whatever we see commercials for when we watch football now. And it's just smoke show after smoke show after smoke show. Everybody is beautiful. And even like the one fat slob weirdo is like, I don't know, a 7 if you lived in your town. You know?
Right. That is true. It's Amy Madigan, who didn't she just win an Oscar for Weapons? She was like the old lady that was doing all the underhanded
Old
stuff.
lady. Exactly.
But I mean, it's like 30 years on. But like, you are
Sure.
right. Whoever's behind casting now, even if it's like a period piece where you're supposed to be like disheveled, it's always like these Botox.
Yeah, but part of it's not just Botox. People drink water. No one was drinking water back then. No one was drinking any water.
It is not that we are more hydrated now.
It's
is
not
why
not.
Hollywood is so much hotter.
It's got to be something though, right? Maybe the diet or something. People don't smoke as
It's
much.
everything.
You know, it's like
It's everything. Yeah. It's the whole culture. Right. The part Katie found hard to believe about halfway through the movie, she goes, "Wouldn't he need a permit to do this?" Katie, there are ghost baseball players, and that's your issue?
Well, what have I done wrong? Where the thing that she's unable to suspend her disbelief about is not all of the magic and bullshit that's happening here, but he didn't get the proper documentation from the local constabulary.
She's got a future in civil service.
Yeah, great.
She will not. She'll need to make more money than that.
What else did we consume? Anything else?
Mario.
Played some Mario, watched some baseball. I'm listening to a book called 7 Eves by Neil Stevenson, a hard sci-fi book about something slamming into the moon at great speed, destroying the moon. This all happens in the opening pages of the book.
Oh wow!
And apparently what would happen, you can model. They can model this. If the moon were to break up, a sudden impact, something slams into it and it breaks into like a handful of pieces, it would cohere gravitationally still for a while, but eventually the chaos that was induced into the system would result in those larger pieces slamming into each other over and over again, and eventually breaking up into many smaller rocks, right? Like essentially trillions of small pieces that would then envelop the Earth in a cloud and then rain down upon us.
Isn't this just Moonfall? Shouldn't we just watch that?
I mean, it's not. The reason Moonfall is not believable is because it was broken into 2 pieces and then catapulted towards the Earth, as I recall. I also got quite drunk while watching that movie, so I'm not sure I have all of the details ready to hand.
It didn't break at all. It was just going closer.
Okay,
and
yeah.
the oceans were weird.
Right. Well, this is the moon breaking into billions and billions and trillions of pieces and then enveloping the Earth and then raining down upon us, which would cause the entire atmosphere to catch on fire, and it would make the Earth completely uninhabitable. And then the story proceeds from there. What are we going to do about the destruction of the planet, and how will humans attempt to survive it?
Is there like a time jump, or do things...
There will be. I believe the book is broken up into 3 parts. I'm only in part 1, but we will have the immediate attempt to survive it and what the humans do. And then there is eventually, apparently, a 5,000-year time jump that happens where humans attempt to repopulate the Earth after it has become habitable again.
Fleshy humans are still hanging around 5,000 years on?
It's what I'm going to read about. Yeah.
That could be fun.
Yeah. All right. Abe, have you got anything else for us tonight?
Nope.
Well, I guess that's all we've got for you tonight then. We'll talk to you next time.
Later.
The proceeding was created with 100% human content.